everyone, welcome to EUROCUP-3. We're here in Italy at Autodromo Nazionale di Monza to experience the third round of the season. Today we are having just in a few minutes the first race of the journey with a very fast Mari Boya taking the pole position. He did yesterday a great performance in the first qualifying session, and it was Francesco Braschi, the one who took the second pole position for tomorrow's race. Francesco Braschi is at the top of the classification and with just Esteban Masson 9 points behind. What does that mean? That today we are having a high intense race and 15 drivers fighting for the points. Let's see what is happening, but now it's time to my colleague Jake to continue giving you all the details of this race.
We are ready for the start of the first of the EuroCup-3 races of the weekend. It's going to be a fantastic battle here at the Autodromo Nazionale Monza. You can see the cars getting themselves ready now on their formation lap. And what a terrific battle it's going to be. Mari Boya is going to be starting from pole position. Esteban Masson, the double winner last time out at Aragon, is going to be there in second on the starting grid. Sebastian Ogaard, who did a fantastic job last time, is in third position. Bruno Del Pino lining up in fourth position on the starting grid alongside him. And the championship leader, Francesco Braschi, lining up in P5 alongside Javier Segrera on the third row. The young man from Thailand, Tazanapol Intravavazak, is going to be on the fourth row of the grid alongside Han Chen Yu, the green bullet in the GRS team car. Then it is Jose Antonio Garfias, the Mexican, who lines up ninth on the grid alongside Canada's Nick Gilks. Daniel Nogales makes his first appearance of the season in 11th position alongside Miron Pingazov. And then Suleiman Zanfari didn't get the best from qualifying at all. The Moroccan from El Jadida lines up 13th on the starting grid alongside Sebastian Gravlund. And with no timing in qualifying, William Carlson will line up at the back of the grid. It's definitely going to be a fabulous battle here out at the EuroCup-3 third round of the championship, and with 30 minutes plus 1 lap on the clock, it's going to be a very exciting race battle, and we cannot wait to see how it's all going to play out. Hello everybody, Jake Sanson here with you as we gear ourselves up for a fabulous race battle. The previous race on the circuit for the saloon cars definitely gave us quite a lot of action and drama, and it could potentially cause a couple of hiccups in the first couple of laps of the race. But as you can see, it's not exactly the most glorious of days here. It's been a bit of a tricky one. So we're definitely looking forward to seeing how this race goes. But the man on pole position, Mari Boya, of course, the man who is dovetailing his campaign, not just racing in the world of EuroCup-3, but also race. Is that a problem for one of the MP Motorsport cars? Dropping to the back of the field. I think we've got a problem before the race has even got underway. So that's a slowing MP. I'm not entirely sure which of the cars that is, but I have a feeling that could be a bit of a problem already for Jose Garfias. Dropping right to the back of the grid. So I'll have to double check and make sure everybody comes around, but that's definitely a very tricky start to proceedings as everybody is gearing up for a very tough show. But we are here ready for race 1 of EuroCup-3, the third round of the 2023 season. And it's definitely been a very exciting challenge up to now. Championship leader Francesco Braschi has had 4 races so far and has finished in the top 3 on all 4 occasions. Took a win, a pole position and a fastest lap. Masson has had a double visit to the podium, both with wins at Aragon last time out. And Mari Boya was the other winner in the first race of the season back in Spa. But having missed the last round of the championship, Mari Boya has got some catching up to do. That's exactly what he's here to do at Monza. And he lines up in pole position. This could be a really strong fight back for Mari Boya as he runs in position. Esteban Masson lining up alongside him. Then Ogaard, Del Pino, Braschi, Segrera, Intravavazak, Han Chen Yu, Garfias and Gilks. The green flag at the back of the field. The lights come on and we are ready to go racing at Monza. Off we go, and a good start for Mari Boya. Chops across, no problems at all, holding on in front of Esteban Masson. Watch for Sebastian Ogaard. He wants to try and out-sprint Masson to the first turn as well. And as we head for the first chicane, Mari Boya is going to have his teammate alongside him to his left. Can he drive around Masson? Yes, he can. Very nicely done indeed. And at the start, it's Boya from Ogaard. A great start from Sebastian Ogaard. Esteban Masson having to fall down to third position, and everybody has made it through the first corner safely. So it's a very good start, but Masson is already on the attack of Ogaard. He wants to try and get back on him nice and early. And as they head for the Variante della Roggia, he's got a chance here as he goes to the right side. He's going to try and outbrake him. Try and go right round the outside of the chicane. Beautiful from Masson. Very nicely handled, but on the exit, he's really going to struggle to keep Ogaard back behind him. Ogaard is going to draw level, and as they come through the Lesmos, there is Boya in the lead, and Ogaard is back in front. He has got through past Esteban Masson to retake that second place. So a very challenging start, but a very positive one as well. If you are Esteban Ogaard, if you're Esteban Masson, I should say, what a fantastic start that is, but not good enough to overhaul Sebastian Ogaard. So a fabulous challenge already. As the battle begins, it's definitely going to be a really exciting tussle for everybody as we continue to try and work our way forward. But we're definitely going to see how things continue to progress as they come off the Variante Ascari and on the way down to the Variante Alboreto that used to be known as the Parabolica for many years. Down this long straight, but Mari Boya holds the advantage. Masson is actually dropping back a little bit now in third position. He's not quite giving the challenge that we thought we were going to get to see. So Sebastian Ogaard is in second place, and now Bruno Del Pino, I think, having had a bad start in the other MP Motorsport car, is trying to make progress, but across the line, there's Javier Segrera in the Palau Motorsport car, and he's going to have pressure from Braschi. Here comes Braschi, trying to sprint past both of them to move up into third position, but it's going to be Segrera. Segrera gets up the inside of Masson. He's going to try right round the outside. Beautifully done. And at the Refilio chicane, he has managed to hold on to it. So that's very nicely done. Side by side further back in the pack, that's William Carlson trying to make his bid on his teammate Nick Gilks of Canada. And there's a drive-through penalty, I'm afraid, for Sebastian Gravland. Not entirely sure what that's for, but that must be something to do with being misplaced at the start. I'm afraid Sebastian Gravland has now incurred the wrath of the stewards. He's got a drive-through penalty coming his way. So the battle continues on here at Monza. And the drivers mixing their way further forward. It's Mari Boya who leads the way. Sebastian Ogaard in second. Esteban Masson has now lost out to Javier Segrera, who is charging after Sebastian Ogaard. So Mari Boya looks good up front and is protected slightly by his Danish teammate Sebastian Ogaard. But you've got to remember, in this world of feeder series racing, it's very much every man for himself. Yes, of course, you've got to try and get a good result for the team, but you are here racing for your own merit, your own career, trying to storm up to the world of Formula 1. And in EUROCUP-3, these guys definitely will race each other hard for victory. So we've got Segrera having moved up into third place, and then the three Campos cars of Masson, Braschi and Indra Vuvazak charging in behind. Seventh place currently is Garfias in the MP Motorsport car, and that is a very slow MP Motorsport car at the back of the grid. That's got to be Sebastian Gravland. He's got a drive-through penalty. He's got all sorts of problems as he goes down the back straight. I have a feeling this is going to be a very short race for Sebastian Gravland. So as they go down the main straight, Boya having a good run as Ogaard is now having to try and defend from Javier Segrera. Segrera trying to go the long way as they come down to the chicane. Can he pull the same move that he pulled on Masson? He's going to be brave on the brakes. And a great run from Javier Segrera. Segrera gets him into second position then, past Palou, in the Palou car, past Sebastian Ogaard in the MP Motorsport car. But there's a little bit of a gap on the inside at Curva Grande. Oh, I thought for a moment Sebastian Ogaard was going to put the MP car up the inside. He hasn't quite been able to do that as Sebastian Gravland returns to the pits. He's serving the drive-through penalty, but I'm not entirely sure he's going to go much further than that as Esteban Masson, fresh from his double victory last time out at Aragon, is trying to work himself forward. So as they work their way through, it's Boya, Segrera, Ogaard and Masson. Then in fifth place it is Francesco Braschi. He's going to be losing a fair chunk of points to Mari Boya, but he's got a bit of a lead to carry. He has 79 points coming into this weekend, of course, Francesco Braschi, while Mari Boya only has 49. 44, I should say, because he missed out last time out at Aragon because he was on Formula 3 duty, doing both championships in the same season. Car 3 and 13 are under investigations, apparently. So that is Javier Segrera and Daniel Nogales, the two Spaniards. Javier Segrera, of course, for Palau Motorsport, and number 13, Daniel Nogales, for DriveX. So not entirely sure why they're under investigation, but that is the message that we are getting. The fans are enjoying it for certain, as the drivers are battling away out of the Variante Alboreto. named after the great Formula One driver Michele Alboreto, several times a Grand Prix winner, and second here in 1988 at Monza in a Ferrari. I'm fairly sure he is the last Italian Ferrari driver to stand on a Grand Prix podium, and this is a battle royale as, again, Ogaard has managed to get himself into second position. He's out-dragged Segrera, and is that Braschi up the inside of his teammate? I think Braschi has managed to get through past Esteban Masson at the first chicane. Interfurvasak is under pressure himself here from Garfias in the MP car. And then Bruno Del Pino is not far away from that. It's a fabulous opening battle. That's what's brilliant about Monza. We've got overtakes galore, side by side for sixth position between Interfurvasak and Garfias. And again, a little bit of a defensive tactic for fourth position as the two Campos teammates are dueling away. And that looks like Braschi in front of Masson. Little puff of dust at the chicane on the exit of the della Roggia. And now trying to make their way up to the Lesmos. But Javier Segrera in the Palau Motorsport car has fallen back behind Sebastian Ogaard once again. So as they come off the second Lesmo, along the main straight and underneath the oval. Last used back in about 1960, I think. But still invoking incredible memories of this place. Built, of course, for the Monza Napolis Challenge back in the 1950s. And as they work their way through the Variante Ascari, through the left, through the right, and through the left, they go back onto the back straight again and up to the Variante Alboreto. Nick Chilks has dropped to the back of the field. I'm not entirely sure why, but there is the DriveX car, number 64, at the tail of the field. He must have made a mistake somewhere and has dropped back behind William Carson, his teammate now. And the car in front of them is the other Palau car of Miron Pingazov. So Boya leads, Ogaard second, then Segrera, Braschi, Masson, Interfurvasak, Garfias, Del Pino, Nogales, Hahn, Zanfari, Pingazov, Carson and Jilks. So Sebastian Ogaard looking to hunt down Marty Boya, who's got a little bit closer in the tow. And Segrera not quite close enough to challenge for third position. Meanwhile, further back, that's going to need to be brave if you're going to get into sixth position from Garfias. He doesn't quite have the ability there to outbrake Interfurvasak. And Bruno Del Pino is now going to get his chance to close up on his teammate Garfias as they run through in close proximity. They're going to run together as they come through the Curva Grande. And there is a drive-through penalty in 35. Oh, that is Sebastian Gravlund again, but unfortunately he's already out of the race, I think, so I'm not entirely sure he's going any further anyway. So he has parked it in pit lane. Bit of a run wide from Boya. Just about catches it on the exit of the curb, though. Segrera and Braschi are pushing hard. There is Francesco Braschi in the Campos racing car as he works his way through the second Lesmo. Down the straight, up through the gears. Hunting down Javier Segrera in the Palau Motorsport car. Palau Motorsport, of course, in deference to their founder, Alex Palau, the 2021 IndyCar Series champion, who is here this weekend at Monza to support his drivers. So clearly both Javier Segrera and Miron Pingazov really want to do a good job for their boss. They come off the Variante Ascari. There's the green bullet in the middle of the field. That is Han Shenyu, the Chinese driver, the sole driver for GRS. Hoping that there's going to be a few more drivers joining through the course of the season, of course. It's always that difficult first season for a new championship, but the racing so far in the first two rounds at Spa and Aragon have been absolutely fantastic. And we've had 3 different winners from the first 4 races. So the battle between Boya, Braschi and Masson for race wins has been truly fantastic. But look at Ogaard and Segrera. They want a piece of this. Segrera's going to have to try and work very hard indeed to keep Francesco Braschi at bay. Braschi is going to continue doggedly pursuing to get into third position. It's going to need a late braking, and he's done it. As up the inside goes Bruno Del Pino, but he overshoots. So Bruno Del Pino has taken the place off his teammate Garfias, but surely he'll need to concede the place back again because he's gained an advantage there at the first chicane, and he does indeed. So Bruno Del Pino moves over and lets his teammate, Jose Antonio Garfias, the Mexican, go back through into 7th position. And look at the squabble here between Braschi and Segrera. Braschi having gone into 3rd position, defending valiantly here. So 20 minutes to go, plus the additional lap. And of course, there are 2 races going on at the same time, don't forget, because we've not just got the overall race battle, but we've also got the rookie battle. So that is going to be quite an important one to watch out for. Suleiman Zanfari currently leading the rookie standings, but having a terrible day of it at the moment, down in 12th position. Bruno Del Pino is looking to be the one to pick up the most points from this. Oh, sorry, Taz Interfivazak, of course. He scored no points last time out at Aragon. He retired in race 1, couldn't start the second race, so he's trying to bounce back in fine style here. But Suleiman Zanfari, the Moroccan, currently running in 12th position. He's lost out to Miron Pingazov on the last lap. So the young man from El Jadida in Morocco, hoping to get himself back up the order and reclaim the stakes in the rookie standings. But Bruno Del Pino is currently looking at the rookie win today, as he's trying to hunt down Taz Intervivazak. Intervivazak is currently the rookie leader, but Del Pino definitely wants to take it from him. So across the line, and we've got battles for third. Braschi, Segrera and Masson are going to have a bit of a slipstream race here. Braschi currently has it. Segrera's trying to beat into the corner. Masson's managed to beat Segrera to the corner. Masson trying to go long around the outside. There's not going to be a lot of room, and Masson has to give best. So Masson moves up to 4th past Segrera. Watch out for Taz Intervivazak in the background as well. He wants to get in on this as well. So as they go through Curva Grande, we've got 4 cars in the battle for the final podium spot. Braschi, Masson, Segrera, Intervivazak. Still they battle away. Chop on the inside line. You're not going to get me that easily, says Braschi. Masson has to work very hard to cover the line and still get it round without too much of an issue. This is very tricky stuff between them all. I have to say, they're leaving in each other just enough room to negotiate the corners. But I think the next man on the move is going to be Taz Intervivazak. He lines up Segrera quite nicely out of the second Lesmo, and he's going to have the slipstream here. Down the straight, up towards the Variante Ascari. Keep it nice and tidy. The 2 MP cars out front, Boya and Ogaard, are having a fantastic run. But watch out for Segrera, defending valiantly here from Intervivazak. Segrera actually got closer to Masson. So Intervivazak was not able to go for the move I thought he might have been. But now they go down the back straight again on the approach to the Variante Albareto. That long, long back straight. Trying to get the move done into the hairpin. Nobody's going to be able to make that bid this time. But as they come back onto the main straight once again, it's going to be Mari Boya, Sebastian Ogaard, the 2 MP cars stretching their legs out front. And now we've got this slipstream tug of war. Braschi, Masson, Segrera and Intervivazak. Behind them is Garfias in front of Del Pino and Nogales. Looks like there's some debris on the main straight. I'm entirely sure where that's come from. But we can see there, oh, there's a bit of carbon fiber coming off one of the cars up front. Was there contact in that third place battle as Del Pino is really having to struggle here to keep Nogales at bay, and overshooting goes Garfias. So Nogales in the DriveX car is able to get ahead of Del Pino, but surely he's got to concede that place again. I'm a little concerned, though, for that piece of carbon fiber that went flying on the approach to the first chicane. So that's got to be they've got to be mindful of that, as Masson has got through into third position. So Masson has got past Braschi to move into third place. We were so busy watching Del Pino versus Nogales and overshooting. That is one of the Campos cars, I believe, going on. That is Suleiman Zanfari, I think. And look, there it is. There's a little piece of bodywork that has parted company from the car. We're not sure which car, by the way. I've got a feeling it's one of the quartet in the battle for third position. There might have been just a little bit of contact on the way down to the braking zone. All 4 cars are still running and still in the same positions that they were, other than Masson now in front of Braschi. But I wonder if we're going to see some handling difficulties. Is that Intervivazak having a look? He has a challenge on Segrera, but he can't get through, and that's a brave maneuver to attempt there on the Variante Ascari. We're going to have another look at this. Now let's see what happened. Oh, now a little bit of dust on the main straight, but everybody was still going top speed. Now, whose car had something part company? That was Masson just pulling across on Braschi. Now, is that a piece of bodywork that's come off Braschi's car? We'll have to double check if we get an opportunity. But they're coming down the main straight again now. And again, Esteban Masson is having to go defensive on Francesco Braschi. He hugs the inside line. Braschi's going to have to brake late. Masson will cut across and watch out for the move. Oh, goodness me. Taz Intervivazak was going for Segrera, and in his rear-view mirrors, Segrera panicked, overshot. He didn't want to get hit, and so he's overshot. Now, I don't think Segrera's got to give that place back, because although he overshot the chicane, I don't think he's gained an advantage from that, because he has still kept his original position, so I don't think he's got to move over. Here comes the move from Braschi. on the inside of Masson. He can't get through. Big twitch in the middle of the Variante della Roggia there from Masson. He's clearly finding it very tricky to hold on to in front of his teammate Francesco Braschi through the Lesmos. And look at that squabble going on between teammates again, Garfias and Del Pino. As Nogales is now 9th. Han Xinyu in front of Pingasov, Jilks, Carlson, and Suleiman Zanfari all the way down to 14th. So, oh, and there's an MP slowing. One of the MP cars is slowing. Now, is that Garfias or is that Del Pino? I couldn't quite make out who it was. It looks like he might have spun it. It's definitely one of those two, as there goes into Vivazak. He gets through on Segrera, and I can tell you it's Del Pino. Bruno Del Pino is the one that spun. He must have lost it coming out of the second Lesmo, because he's got going again and he's up to race speed, so I don't think it's anything mechanically wrong with the car as such. Look, he's up to race speed, so I think he must have just hit the curb on the second Lesmo a little bit too aggressively on the throttle and pirouetted around. So very unfortunate indeed for Bruno Del Pino, and there goes the rookie win. So it looks like Taz in the Vivazak goes down to... Oh! Off the road! That's the Palau car of Javier Segrera, I think. Segrera has gone wide at the final turn. Or is it Segrera? No, it's not. My apologies. So I think that is actually... We've had Del Pino drop back down the order. So who else has gone wide there? I'll try and pick up on who that was. I think that's Braschi. I think that's Francesco Braschi. It is indeed. And now he's dueling with Carlson. So Braschi went wide at the Variante Alboreto, and I'm afraid Francesco Braschi is now all the way down to 11th place. That is bitter disappointment for the championship leader. And that means if he stays down in 11th, he's going to score no points at all. So goodness me, Francesco Braschi has dropped all the way down to 11th. So now he's dueling with Carlson and Zanfari. That is not where he wanted to be at all. So, big disappointment there. And there's more dust that's been kicked up at the Lesmos. I think that's drivers running wide rather than having a crash. But certainly, you can see that as the tyres start to depreciate, there is the mistake from William Carlson. You can see as these tyres degrade, drivers are really struggling to hold the car on the road. You've got to learn how to look after these tyres for the entirety of the half-hour race plus the additional lap. And as you push harder on a circuit like this, when you are on the limit of adhesion, your education becomes quite scary. For the DriveX driver, William Carlson, he overshoots at the second Lesmo. Let's have another look at it. Ah, now that's the leader. That's Mari Boya overshooting at the first Lesmo. So he was the one to overrun it. Goodness me, even the leader is under pressure to hold it on the road. So Boya and Ogaard out in front, then Masson into Vivazak. Segrera, Garfias, Nogales, Han Xinyu, Pingasov, Jilks, Braschi all the way down in 11th now ahead of Zanfari, Carlson and Del Pino. Well, 14 of the 15 cars that started are still running. Only Sebastian Gravlund has parked it for the day. So he'll be out again in race 2 tomorrow. Urgency creeping in here from Pingasov. Come on, put your foot down. He was getting very irritated there, stuck behind Han Xinyu in the chicane. He was ready to get on the throttle fractionally earlier, but he didn't have the room to get past. That's the problem he had. So a bit of a difficulty. Further up, we can see that that's the below car of Segrera dueling away. I think that was Garfias trying to get past him, and there's very, very tight battles continuing between Han Xinyu and Midon Pingasov. Xinyu trying to hold him back. Looked like the wing was wobbling there and flexing big time. Big tank slapper from Dan Nogales through the first Lesmo as well, the number 13. In his first EUROCUP-3 race, Dan Nogales. But he's keeping it together. He's up to 7th place. Good run from Daniel Nogales so far. So as they go under the bridge, Boya and Ogaard. Masson in for Vivazak in front of Javier Segrera. And then in 6th place, that is the Mexican Garfias. So Jose Antonio Garfias doing a grand job and keeping it together for the time being. Still a very solid race there. But this is a really interesting duel. We've still got 10 minutes left here at Monza, plus the additional lap, of course. And Mari Boya has the advantage over his teammate Sebastian Ogaard, who try as he might, just can't quite seem to get close enough to make the bid. As we go into the 12th lap of racing, Mari Boya in front of Sebastian Ogaard. These are long races, though, half an hour plus 1 lap, so the drivers certainly get their money's worth. The incident between 44 and 28. That's William Carlson and Francesco Braschi into turn 1. Under investigation. Now, that's interesting, because obviously Carlson overshot. I didn't think there was any contact between them, but they still have to investigate the incident. So Francesco Braschi finds himself in 11th place, desperately trying to catch the Canadian Nick Gilks to get himself back into the championship points. Otherwise, he's going to be in the same situation as Mari Boya last time out and score no points in the first race, despite the fact that, unlike Mari Boya, he's racing here today. So Francesco Braschi making that mistake at the Alboreto corner. That's pretty disastrous in terms of his race weekend, because the championship advantage he had over Mari Boya is about to be slashed big time. If Mari Boya takes the victory and the 25 points that go with it, then all of a sudden, Francesco Braschi's giant lead is going to be completely smashed, not just by Boya, but also by Masson. Masson comes home in 3rd place. He's going to move up to 83 points and take the lead of the championship. Mari Boya takes the win. He'll have 25 points, and that will put him on 69 points for the tally. So he's going to get right back into the hunt for the title. 99 and 13, 2 seconds penalty for cutting the chicane and gaining an advantage. That is Jose Garfias and Dan Nogales. So 6th and 7th, they're both going to get a 2-second penalty, which will be added to their race time for cutting the chicane and gaining an advantage. Now, is that going to do much to them? Well, it's definitely going to cost them a position. I don't think it's going to cost them more than that. So Dan Nogales is going to get a 2-second penalty. So is Jose Garfias. But the man behind them is Han Shen-Yu. So I don't think that's actually going to cause them too much of a headache at all, because Han Shen-Yu is more than 2 seconds back. Certainly more than 2 seconds back from Garfias, but not from Nogales. And now the battle behind them is Pingasov versus Gilks. These are the final 2 points paying positions. So they want to keep this as clean as possible, because there is Francesco Braschi in 11th position. He wants to get back into the points. And there's Suleiman Zanfari dueling with William Carlson. 12th and 13th with Bruno Del Pino still running, but down behind these guys by quite a considerable margin. Although he is setting personal bests, Bruno Del Pino. He just did a 1:49.1. Mari Boya, by the way, just set the fastest lap, and that's going to put him on 70 points for getting a bonus point for the fastest lap. And that's only going to put him 9 points behind Braschi in the championship fight if it were to stay like this. So Masson would take the lead of the standings, but Mari Boya would close up to within just 9 points of the championship leader, Francesco Braschi. So this is really going to be very exciting going into tomorrow's second race. But with 7 minutes, plus the additional final lap, there's still plenty to play for. Do not make mistakes, gentlemen. Keep it nice and tidy in the closing stages. Francesco Braschi certainly hasn't. Nor has Zanfari, Carlson, or Del Pino. They've all fallen out of the points when they were at one point in them. Oh, goodness me, Carlson is pushing. He really wants to get himself back into contention, and he's all over the back of Suleiman Zanfari on the run down the straight. So this is going to be very tricky. Who is going to get the job done here at Monza? So far, Mari Boya looking very good indeed. Just needs to keep it together. No panics, no surprises. Gets it down to the chicane. Looking so smooth here, Mari Boya. As far as he's concerned, this is a perfect opportunity to give himself a second win of the championship and to reignite his title attack. Don't forget, he's also racing in the Formula 3 Championship on Grand Prix weekends. So this is a great chance for him to continue his sensational season. And it really started for him this year, all the way back in January in the Formula Regional Middle East Championship. He'd been in Formula Regional for several years without taking a win. He went to the Dubai Autodrome and won race 3. Did a fantastic job, dominated by all accounts. And ever since then, Mari Boya has been a winning machine. He's been very strong everywhere. And now here in EuroCup-3, he's looking for his second win of the season. Doing a grand job in the 5th race of EuroCup-3. He missed last time out at Aragon, of course. But he triumphed at Spa. As too did his championship rival, Francesco Braschi. Look at the way these two have just checked out from everybody else. Don't forget, these are all the same cars, the same equipment. But Mari Boya and Sebastian Ogaard have got themselves into a gentle rhythm. And the gap between Boya and Ogaard is steady at 2 seconds, roughly. So Mari Boya is not making any mistakes. He's keeping it nice and smooth. Masson has pulled well clear in 3rd position as well. This is a very smooth drive in the end from Esteban Masson. after the difficulties of the quartet earlier. Now he has settled into third position, and he's just wanting to bring it home on the podium, with Taz Intervivazak looking good for the rookie win in fourth place. Segrera in fifth position, in front of Garfias. So it's looking good for Intervivazak to take the win. Looking at the way things currently stand in the rookie table, trying to see how that would shape everything out, because a lot of the rookies are down the order. I think Pingazov. Oh, bit of a twitch from Nogales. He manages to catch it out there. Well, Nogales, I think, is going to be second rookie home, isn't he? If he keeps it together. And then he'll be joined on the podium by Miron Pingazov. And that would be his third rookie podium of the season. Hasn't yet taken a win, but for Delpino, Carson, and Gravlund, they've really struggled. And Zanfari is down the order battling with Carson. And Intervivazak has a 2-second penalty now. That is not good news for Intervivazak at all, especially considering as how he's got Xavier Segrera. Javier Segrera is about 7/10 of a second behind him. Garfias is quite close to him as well, so that's going to drop him 2 places. So Intervivazak is going to drop from 4th to 6th if it stays like this. Now he's got that 2-second penalty for cutting the chicane. So that is not good news at all for Taz Intervivazak. So he will drop from 4th to 6th with that 2-second time penalty for cutting the chicane. Now, that means essentially that he's going to drop to P6, but he should still hold on to the rookie lead in front of Dan Nogales. He's just got to be very mindful of his lap times. There is Suleiman Zanfari. Fabulous talent, Suleiman Zanfari. He's not having a great day at the office today, but Charles Leclerc rates him very highly indeed. He was the first man in history ever to give Charles Leclerc's karting chassis an international race win. Back in 2019 at the Dubai O-Plate. I was there. He drove a fantastic run in the junior category. And Suleiman Zanfari, the first man ever to give Charles Leclerc's karting chassis an international motorsport victory. So he definitely has the talent to be here. Down to the braking zone, into the chicane, right and left. Very tight. Stay off the curb on the inside, catch a little on the outside, that gets you straightened up. But Esteban Masson has got some pressure. He's got quite a bit of pressure now because Intervivazak wants to get ahead of him and pull away by 2 seconds to maintain at least a third, possibly a 4th place finish, because at the moment he's going to lose out to both the men behind him, Javier Segrera and Jose Garfias. And this is not what Taz Intervivazak wanted to see at all here at Monza. He sat in 4th position, stuck behind Esteban Masson, who is set to take the championship lead, by the way, in 3rd position. He'll take the lead of the championship standings by just 4 points in front of Braschi. If Boya continues where he is, then he is going to be 9 points behind Braschi, and that's definitely going to be game on tomorrow. But what a mistake at this point of the season for Francesco Braschi to make, to drop himself out of the running and down into 11th position. He hasn't been able to make the impression on Han Shenyu, Miron Pingazov and Nick Gilks that he was hoping to. And he has not managed to get himself back into the points. It's a big disappointment for Braschi, but he's got to shake it off. He's got to wipe off the disappointment from that and move on to tomorrow. This is just one race. This isn't the championship over by any means at all. If anything, we're just getting started. The fat lady hasn't even warmed up her vocal cords yet as Mari Boya goes into the penultimate lap. With only 50 seconds left on the clock, he's got this lap plus the one after it. And then the checkered flag will wave here at Monza, and Boya is on course to take win number 2 of 2023 in EUROCUP-3. But now Segrera is having to defend from Garfias. Apparently the timing screen is saying we're going into the last lap. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. I wonder if the change in the schedule, a little bit of a delay, means that we're just going to have this as the last lap rather than the additional lap. I thought it was 30 minutes plus 1 lap. So the drivers are going to come through. So a really exciting run. A fabulous situation for all of the contenders. Up the inside, Han Shenyu having a think about getting back on terms with Miron Pingazov, who has got through finally. So Miron Pingazov has finally been able to get through. Well, according to that graphic, the time has run down to 0, and it says the last lap, but I have seen this before in feeder series racing. So Mari Boya is going to continue. But according to the information I've got in front of me, it should be 30 minutes plus 1 lap. So this might not be the last lap. I have seen this before in the world of single-seater racing. Those who were watching at Dubai at the start of the year will know exactly what I'm talking about. So Mari Boya is coming off the final turn in the lead. But I've got a sneaky suspicion he may be about to start the last lap. It may not be the last lap. There is the last lap board. There, you see, that's exactly what happened in Dubai. Back in the Formula Regional Middle East Championship. It isn't the last lap. Now it is. So, Masson in front of Intrafurvazak, Segrera and Garfias. And those 4 cars are going to battle all the way to the checkered flag now. The final place on the podium is up for grabs. I think Garfias has also got a penalty for transgressing the chicane. So Garfias, of course, has one. So too does Intrafurvazak as they battle again, these two. Pingasov and Archenyu. So Garfias has 2 seconds. So does Dan Nogales. As does Intrafurvazak. So Segrera, I think, is going to end up 4th. But with Nogales putting 2 seconds clear of Pingasov, the only thing I think it's going to affect is Segrera will move ahead of Intrafurvazak. Everybody else should keep their original positions. But Archenyu, the green bullet, doing his best to continue to take on Miron Pingasov. And Nick Jukes, the Canadian, is starting to catch up to him. So Dan Nogales looks pretty safe in 7th place. And if there is a mistake on the final lap, Francesco Braschi has turned up the wick to 11. He wants to take a point away on this last lap at Monza. But this man, Mari Boya, has done a fantastic job. He has kept it nice and smooth throughout in front of his teammate Sebastian Ogaard, the Danish driver. But it's the Spaniard who's going to come through. That man, Esteban Masson, in 3rd position, is going to take the lead of the championship after this with a brilliant run to 3rd position. And despite the penalty, I do think Taz Intrafurvazak is going to hang on for the rookie win, although he will lose 4th position and drop to P5. So a fabulous battle will come to a conclusion as Mari Boya is going to come through here at Monza to take the checkered flag. He wins race 1 at the EuroCup-3 at Monza. Mari Boya, his 2nd EuroCup-3 win of 2023 in front of his teammate Sebastian Ogaard. It's a 1-2 for MP. Esteban Masson claims 3rd position. That will put him in the lead of the Drivers' Championship. And despite crossing the line in 4th, Taz Intrafurvazak will be demoted, I believe, to P5, but he will still take the rookie win. Fabulous result for Mari Boya. Excellent work here at Monza. And a truly sensational duel between him and Sebastian Ogaard in the early stages. But Mari Boya held him off nicely. And now the MP boys will claim 1st and 2nd. It's not quite the clean sweep of the podium. Garfias in 6th position on the road. Del Pino finishing in 14th. Gravlund having a retirement, unfortunately, with some kind of technical problem. But a great run. And now, of course, they can overshoot the chicane because they're not under racing conditions. And that's so that they can put a little bit more pickup on the tyres. Because obviously those marbles, they all weigh a little bit of extra weight. So you want to put a little bit of pickup on the tyres so that when you weigh in, you're a little bit heavier than you were when you were driving. They'll try any trick in the book. But a fantastic run. I mean, I say they'll weigh a little bit more, but we're talking like a couple of grams difference here. So a great start to the weekend for Mari Boya as he picks up the win and the 25 points to go with it. I'm fairly sure he picked up the fastest lap of the race as well. So that will be an extra bonus point. So that'll put him on 70 points in the championship fight now. Francesco Braschi, I can tell you, did not make it into the top 10 unless there is a penalty in front of him. Then Francesco Braschi does not score in this first race of the weekend, which is very unfortunate indeed for Francesco Braschi. Suleiman Zanfari just missing out on the rookie podium this time, unfortunately. So disappointing, but he'll still be able to bounce back. Here's your provisional result. Mari Boya in front of Sebastian Ogaard. Esteban Masson in 3rd in front of Taz Intrafurvazak. This is before penalties are applied, of course. Javier Segrera in 5th position in front of Jose Garfias. Then Dan Nogales, Miron Pingasov, Hanchenyu and Nick Jilks. That mistake from Francesco Braschi dropping him to 11th place in front of Suleiman Zanfari. And then William Carson ahead of Bruno Delpino, who also had a mistake of his own that dropped him to the back. Sebastian Gravlund, sadly, unable to finish the race, but he had problems right from lap 1. Well, the Autodromo Monza, that of course celebrates 100 years of motorsport, is really having a fantastic time of it. As into the pits comes Mari Boya, and the MP Motorsport team can really celebrate in style. I've had my eye on this boy, Mari Boya, for such a long time now. First came across this talent back in 2018 in his native Spain at the circuit of Valencia, when he took the Miami Winter Cup as a tender young teenager. Now he is an absolute megastar in the making, Mari Boya. There he is celebrating with his MP mechanics and team. This talent is just getting started in his rise up the motorsport ladder. There's a couple of names to watch out for in Spanish motorsport, Pepe Marti being one of them, but Mari Boya definitely being another. When Fernando Alonso and Carlos Sainz Jr. finally hand the baton over to another Spanish talent, it would not shock me at all if Mari Boya was one of them. The teammates embrace. Sebastian Ogaard picking up his best finish of the season in second. But Mari Boya takes his second win of the season and gets his championship assault in EuroCup-3 back on track. Just 9 points back now from Francesco Braschi and only 13 behind Esteban Masson. It is game on. So Esteban Masson finishing up in third position. He will take the lead of the Drivers' Championship provisionally by 4 points. So a great run from Mari Boya. Did a fantastic job. Right from the start, we knew we were going to be in for a fascinating EuroCup-3 Race 1 here at Monza. It was always going to be a tricky one for Mari Boya from pole position, with Esteban Masson alongside him on the front row. But Sebastian Ogaard was the one who challenged into the first corner and grabbed second place. MP 1 and 2. Everyone keeping it clean through the first chicane. A couple of drivers overshooting time after that. Gravlund dropping out. Delpino overshooting his mark. And then, unfortunately, Delpino would drop back further after a spin. The challenge for third position saw a little bit of bodywork fly. But Taz Vivazak would drop back, and so too dramatically would Francesco Braschi after running wide out of the final corner, out of the points and out of luck. Even Mari Boya was blameless in his run to the victory, but he still took it in fine style. So, EuroCup-3 podium. There are going to be 2 podium ceremonies, of course, here, because we're going to have the overall race podium, and then we will also have the rookie podium. And provisionally, that is going to be filled by Taz Vivazak, Dan Nogales, and Miron Pingazov, I do believe. So we're going to have the podium celebration for our 3 drivers in the top 3 positions. Esteban Masson will be third, and he now takes the lead of the championship provisionally. Second, Sebastian Ogaard, and Mari Boya will be the victor. A fabulous start to the positions, and as Fan of Lando on YouTube points out, Mari Boya is 13 points behind the leader, despite not having raced at Aragon. That is quite incredible, isn't it? So it's definitely going to be a fascinating challenge for the battles together. So really exciting run for all of the contenders in fantastic style here at the Autodromo Nazionale Monza. It's not my first visit to the circuit this year. I was here earlier this year for Fanatec GT World Challenge, and my goodness, was it a fantastic facility. You don't really know just how special and how historic this Monza circuit is until you walk through those gates for the first time. And I have absolutely no hesitation in telling you that I felt like I was 9 years old when I walked through the gates at Monza. It's quite an amazing moment. And for these drivers, it will be very special to stand on the Monza podium, having worked their socks off to go for the victory in race 1 of the weekend in EuroCup-3 2023, round 3 at Monza. It's all the 3s this weekend, but it's win number 2 for Mari Boya. If he takes the win tomorrow, then it would be win number 3 in round 3 of EuroCup-3 2023. But then if Esteban Masson does the same thing, then he'll get that accolade instead. What a fabulous run then for all of the drivers in Eurocup 3. We'll hear the Spanish national anthem, and we'll also hear the Thai national anthem for Tausen de Vivazak, who claims his rookie win. And that'll be his second rookie win of the season, having done so in race 2 at Spa. He didn't get to do anything really in Aragon. He had a crash in race 1 and couldn't start in the second race thanks to the damage of the car. So he's having to fight back in pretty much the same way Mari Boya is. The only difference being that Tausen de Vivazak did compete at Aragon and Mari Boya did not. But they're both winners today. The two men who scored 0 points at Aragon are now going to stand on the top step of their respective podiums for the rookie and overall battles here in Eurocup 3. There'll be more great racing action, of course, tomorrow, slightly earlier tomorrow for race 2. You can find all the information on Eurocup3.org, the official website of Eurocup 3. It's going to be a really exciting season, though, isn't it? We've got a very busy year ahead of us in the Eurocup 3 category, because we still have more visits to talk about in the international calendar. After Monza, we head to Zandvoort on the 3rd weekend of July, to Jerez in Spain on the 4th weekend of September, the venue where Jacques Villeneuve and Michael Schumacher duelled for the 1997 Formula 1 Championship. Then to Estoril, just a week later in Portugal. And then 2 weeks after that in Valencia on the Cheste circuit. And then the season concludes on the 11th and 12th of November on the Circuit de Catalunya that just hosted the Spanish Grand Prix. A very busy season for Eurocup 3 in 2023, but there is a nice summer pause after the 4th round of the championship at Zandvoort. They will take a 2-month break before heading to the Circuit de Jerez de la Frontera. Fabulous race circuit. They've got an amazing museum at that particular circuit. If you're going to go to any racetrack in this year's calendar, I urge you to go to Jerez. It's a fabulous race circuit on the calendar. Much underused and much undervalued, in my opinion. And it will definitely provide some great racing in Eurocup 3. Lots of overtaking opportunities on that circuit. And of course, the scene many years ago when Nigel Mansell and Ayrton Senna gave us one of the closest finishes in Grand Prix history as they came out of the final turn and side by side over the line. Going to have a few of those, hopefully, in Eurocup 3 this year. We've certainly had 3 different races with Mari Boya, Francesco Braschi and Esteban Masson, giving us plenty of entertainment. And now we're going to get to hopefully see the drivers fairly soon out onto the podium to celebrate their achievements. And as I said before, there'll be 2 podiums that we will be greeted. I think the drivers are now heading out onto the podium. I think I saw some movement there as they will venture forward. Obviously, Eurocup 3 sharing the race bill with the 24 Hours series this weekend, who are racing on the same weekend as the big one. And I'm sure that many of the drivers on the grid are going to want to be at the Circuit de la Sarthe one day. Le Mans 24 Hours, of course. Motorsport fans will want to enjoy that. I'm sure all the drivers here will be tuning in for the start, and I'm sure you will be as well. But what a fantastic start to the day to watch some great battles in Eurocup 3 here at Monza, and to watch some potential Grand Prix stars of the future dueling away for position. I have a feeling that pretty much all of the drivers on this grid are going to be chasing a place on the Le Mans 24 Hours grid one day. Quite a few of them will do it as well, I think. Certainly watching the kind of talents and the kind of sensational ability that we have seen displayed here at Monza. I'm sure we're going to see it. Well, the promotional personnel are making their way back to the podium, so I would assume that the podium ceremony is going to be imminent. Always a tricky first season of a championship, the first year. But you have to give full credit to the Real Federación Española de Automovilismo, who have been very passionate about putting this Eurocup 3 championship together in 2023. They really wanted to give these drivers a more cost-effective step up the ladder of motorsport. That's what Eurocup 3 is designed to be. Very similar cars in spec to the FIA Formula 3 Championship. A nice segue between Formula 4 and Formula 3. And hopefully a really encouraging path for the future, as the promotional team are having selfies on the podium. And who wouldn't want a picture on the very historic Autodromo Nazionale Monza podium. I certainly would. Yeah, I'll try and get one a little bit later. Might be a bit tricky, though. The drivers will make their way out onto the podium to celebrate in fine style. And what this really tells us after this fabulous race is that we've actually had a really intriguing new battle emerging in the championship fight. And I think we now have confirmation, essentially, that there are 3 drivers in the hunt for this championship. Esteban Masson, who should lead the championship after this race on 83 points. Then Francesco Braschi on 79 and Mari Boya on 70. And those 3 are slowly creeping away from the rest of the contenders in the battle. But Mari Boya takes his 2nd win and his 2nd podium of the season, would you believe? Every time he's been on the podium, he's ended up winning it in his 3rd race of the year as well. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. That says to me that the drivers are about to make their way out onto the podium, having had a fantastic run here in EuroCup-3 Race 1 at the Autodromo Nazionale Monza. 3rd position, Esteban Masson. The Frenchman should now take the lead of the championship. Sebastian Ogaard in 2nd position. But the man on the top spot, Mari Boya of Spain. Fabulous young contender in motorsport. And the 19-year-old from Leix in Catalonia will be very happy with this. And there we are. The ceremony continues here on the podium with Mari Boya having listened to the national anthem for Spain. A fantastic race for him. His 2nd visit to the podium this year and his 2nd win. And he's right in the hunt for this EuroCup-3 title fight now. Great to see him bounce back into the podium, back onto the EuroCup-3 paddock with a race win. And the MP Motorsport team get to celebrate a victory for the team as well. And a congratulations, of course, to Esteban Masson, the man who now takes the lead in the championship for the time being. But how long is he going to hold the lead for? Is it even going to be as long as 24 hours? The team trophy for MP Motorsport. Esteban Masson takes 3rd position and the provisional lead of the EuroCup-3 point standings. A good run from Sebastian Ogaard, his best result of the season in 2nd. But the man on the top spot, Mari Boya, his 2nd win of the year. And now he's back in the hunt for the driver's title. 3rd position in the standings. Despite missing Aragón, he is just 9 points back from Braschi and 13 back from Masson. Imagine what the standings could have been like had he continued at Aragón. So Mari Boya is going to enjoy the spoils of his battle here. And I think they're going to enjoy some celebrations on the podium as well. A fabulous run for the competition as they continue in fine style. And hopefully we should be able to stick around for the rookie podium as well. But there is definitely going to be more action and excitement tomorrow when we continue with the drama and the fantastic battles out on the circuit here at Monza for Race 2, which will take place tomorrow. You can subscribe to the championship battle. And we're going to leave it there for the time being. The EuroCup-3 first race of the weekend is taken by Mari Boya and the MP Motorsport team. A fantastic result for the Spanish driver. Can he do it again tomorrow and make it 2 out of 2? From me, Jake Sanson, from the entire crew, thank you very much indeed for watching. We'll be back in action. Same time, slightly earlier actually, tomorrow for Race 2. Subscribe to the EuroCup-3 YouTube channel and you won't miss a moment.